Everybody, welcome back to the channel. And you know what? The Ghostbusters HASLAB is moving along. It's a little over 8,000 backers right now. They need to get to 12,000 to get it fully funded. And you know, they had that early bird special where it was like 2 weeks to Tully, which was the Rick Moranis figure. And they said that if they got to the 12,000 before 2 weeks, that everybody was going to get that figure. Well, today, in a surprise announcement, Hasbro came back and said, because the fans were so happy about that figure and stuff like that, they wanted to make sure that everybody that wanted it got it. So as long as the HASLAB funds, everyone's going to get that figure. Now, that's actually pretty cool. That's a midstream change. I don't know if that's going to help or hurt the HASLAB in getting to that 12,000 sooner rather than later, because I can see a lot of last minute people jumping on today or tomorrow to kind of drive it up to 12,000 so they can get the Tully. And now I think those numbers might remain stagnant until closer to the end of the HASLAB when people start accessing their funds. Now the thing is, they have done something like this before when they did that Rancor that didn't fund, where they had all the figures that really didn't need to belong with that Rancor. And then at the very last minute, they decided, we're going to give you a Rancor keeper, but it just wasn't enough to get that HASLAB funded. But this time, they're just eliminating the early bird part of their HASLAB. So basically, you got a HASLAB where there's no additional tiers, there's no early bird, it's timed, so you can buy one or the other. You can buy one and then you can add on a deluxe portion to it, and you have a certain amount of time to do it. The only difference between like this campaign and say the Sentinel that they got going on is that they're going to take your money in December and hold on to it for a year until you get that Ghostbusters HASLAB. And they have a minimum amount that you have to order to be able to get it. So in a way, now that they've just thrown the Tully figure in for everybody, and there's no 2 weeks to Tully, does that mean that this could have just been a timed release? And they could have just partnered with Big Bad Toy Store or something just to get those numbers up to where they want to for production runs? Because this is still making a lot of money for those guys, if you think about it. At even 8,000 backers, I mean, that's quite a bit of money. I'm pretty sure that the production costs aren't anywhere close to the total amount of money they're making. Now, I know their salaries and stuff like that, and this is going to be a boon for them if it gets backed. But what if they get to 11,000? Are they going to change that number in the end and change the HASLAB, or you think they're going to stick to it? Like, say it's 500 away, similar to that Rancor. Do we think now that they've changed that 2 weeks to Tully that they might pull back that number, knowing that, well, that's pretty high, and other HASLABs have been like 10,000 or 8,000 or whatever? And I'm wondering, do you think they might say, oh, you know what, maybe we can just go ahead and go into production anyways because 11,500 people want it? Because I think if they got that made-to-order model where they're taking orders and didn't put down a specific, we have to get this many orders to make it, you almost feel like they could do it with this one. So the only difference between those two projects at this point is that one's called a HASLAB and has an artificial minimum order number, and the other one is called a timed release. Anyways, everybody, let me know what you think. Is this a good move by Hasbro just to give everybody the Tully? Because personally, I think it is. And do you think it's going to hinder their ability to get to 12,000 sooner rather than later? And do you think in the end, there's a possibility that maybe they're becoming more flexible and they might just go ahead and move it into production if it doesn't reach the 12K? Anyways, everybody, thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And as always, have a fantastic day.